Hey, hello. It's Jason here. We're going to go through some sales systems here today, and I only have 30 minutes, so I want to get through this as quickly as possible and get you as much value as possible. So let's start with we're going to just go over mortgage protection sales and show you a strategy that I use in a home that works basically every time. This strategy is the one that leads me to all the annuities weekly. So um, you're going to find that you can illustrate a lot of annuities. It's the next step that will really put you into the market to make a lot of money. So this part is just getting you to the illustrational system that I use that puts the illustration in front of the client, which then hence allows you to make the sale. So it's the presentation to the illustration to the sale. When it comes to annuity sales, you have to get them to know, like, and trust you first. But I do that through knowledge of the power of the product itself. So I might draw on paper, and well, I will draw on paper. I'll use this as paper, and this will be a pen in front of a client. Okay, so I'll tell them, and this is about annuities for now. So when I'm drawing out an annuity, I'll be like, look, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you're at a time in your life where volatility is no good anymore. So what you need is something that protects the principal. So you use those words. You say, protect the principal. It'll echo with them, and it'll say, I want to protect, and I'll write it down. Protect principal. Okay, so we start here, number one. And number two is we don't want to participate in the downsides of the market. That's not where you are in your era of life. Right now, protecting the principal is the most important thing you can do. I would prefer you to keep $100,000 in your account than try for 120 or 150,000 in the next 10 years. You know what I mean? Because that's all that it really is. If you think about it, in 10 years in the market, it might jump 50,000 bucks. Sure, it could go to 200 grand, but it's likely not to. By the time they retire, and look, you're no longer being matched. You're no longer funding it the way you used to be. There's no more funding to it. It's just sitting there. So what you should do is you need to protect the principal. This $100,000 will grow small, or you can protect the principal, or we can do a decision which helps you grow the principal with a guaranteed no downside market hit. Sorry, I lost my eraser. So then the next step would be to show them look, everybody's in the market. This is how it looks. So everybody wants these upsides, but you have to participate with these downsides. Plus there's fees. Okay, by the time it's all said and done, you're earning 6%, you're earning 3%, you're earning 4%. It's not very high, it's just the length of time it's in, and plus you're being matched. By the time the down market hits, and you take a negative 13, negative 21, negative 4, but you got plus 21 here, plus 15 here. It all equals 6%, 4%. Depends on the account and how safe they're being in that account. But at the end of the day, we're protecting the principal. What we would like to do is we would like to participate in the upsides. That's all you'll do. Okay, all you'll do, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, with the way I'm going to show you how to do it, is you participate in the upsides of the market. Okay, you get yourself to, let's say you have $100,000 here, and by the way, by a 40-year look back. So I point that back. 40 years of this. The illustrations are usually 20. This stuff's been going on for 40 years. For a 40-year look back, it shows you that you'll be at $200,000 on the 7th to 10th year. Between the 7th and 10th year. Now that is adjusted by the bonus. If there is a bonus of 13%, it will double on the 7th year. Between the 7th and a half, 8th year. If it's no bonus, it usually takes about 10 years. So it depends on the product you're using. So by a 20-year illustrational look back, it will show every 10 years, for 20 years, you would double your money. So you'd be at 400K right here. You'd be at 200K here. So this is how it works. Yes, but Jason, I need the money. Okay, that's fine too. So we need to participate with that in 5. So how much money do we need? Let's do the math. You're living on Social Security now, and I'll go through it all with them. We're living on Social Security. I got $1,100. Do you have anything else, Mr. and Mrs. Jones? Mr. Jones, what do you have coming in? And what will Mrs. Jones lose? So what will what are you bringing in? What will Mrs. Jones lose when your demise comes, okay? So we have him bringing in, this is her and him. So we know him, let's say his is 2,000. So we know that she's going to get that, but we always want to remind them that it takes about 6 to 12 months before she'll receive that Social Security. So there's a void in time. That's a life insurance selling point. Okay, but this is a life insurance product. When you can't sell life insurance, mortgage protection, final expense, and whatever you're selling, you fall back on this too. This is a fallback to another sale. This is another pivot so you can get into a sale that you would have walked away from, but this is life insurance. These are some of the facts. We turn money into life insurance money. Death benefit. It's death benefit, okay? 2, taxation is less. There's taxation laws that make this less, so it's less money that they spend. 3, they divert, they defer it, it's, you know, basically, if you put the two things, if you put the two side by side, the 401k, 403b, thrift saving, you have the 401k going up, you have this going up, you have the 401k going up, and then this drops, and then this always outperforms it. So every time I put them side by side, I've always said, if you've been into the annuity right now, you'd be a millionaire because of the positioning it puts them in to protect the principal. Just keep reminding them about protecting the principal because the last thing they want to do is lose a ton of money. So they have that. They have no downsides. So what that means is they cannot participate in the downsides. I don't know if it's good to say this, sometimes it is, but 0 is their hero, okay? So 0, meaning they earn nothing, is their hero. But 9 times out of 10, this is a lengthy product. Sometimes it depends on the product you're using, but this is a more lengthy product. But on averages, to average this stuff out, people are earning about 8% annually in a good product. Now, if it's fixed, they're usually earning about 3%. So we want to get them in the products that are more adjusted like this to 12% mark. So you can tell them this. If you can survive on this annually with your money, and you don't pull any more than that annually, that's what your budget needs to be. So when we take $100,000, we add the 13% on, it's $113,000. So they have access to an instant $13,000 extra, okay? First year earnings, 8%. So they're at 100. Let's say they're at $120,000. No, right. They're $136,000 or so. So just in the first year, they're about $136,000. I can't do the math that good in my head. But what that does for them is it allows them an extra fund. Just from that point, they have more money now. They don't worry about, they can go to sleep at night. They don't have to worry about the downsides of the market. They're only participating in the upsides of the market. And when they pull it, they pull small increments. So that small 8% of $130,000 is roughly $10,000 or $11,000. And you mark that down by 12 months out of the year. So 12 months out of the year, I don't know what that is, but let's say it's $900 a month. So they get $900 a month. Add it on to what they're using now. But here's what I would teach them. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I know you said you need it now, but what I would really suggest you doing is allowing the growth to happen. I would like you to let this grow so when the significant other is taken out, that the income is immediately replaced. Okay, Mr. Jones, this is on Mrs. Jones. So you will inherit it as a death benefit. When you inherit it as a death benefit, you, depending on his age, 65 and above, no 13% bonus. 65 and below, 13% bonus. 65 and above, 8% bonus. So you will receive an 8% bonus bump when you do the same thing. So then, Mr. Jones, you're going to create the same product. So if Mrs. Jones dies in 10 years, you receive $200,000, you're going to get an 8% bump on that. That's $16,000. So he gets an instant $216,000 to live from. And that's like $2,000 a month to $3,000 a month for the rest of his life. Or on her end, she keeps the money where it's at. And by the way, you can rewrite these products on the 10th year, like after the fees are done for the, whenever they take the money early withdrawal fees, they are able to get past that after about the 10th year usually, and then you can rewrite this product and do a bonus for them again. So you can literally tell your clients, every 10 years I'll be coming back to rewrite this, which makes you a sale again, and giving you that bonus again. So it'll jump you at that point by $16,000 no matter what you've used out of it. So that's a great selling point to let them know every 10 years you're going to get a jump. You're going to get a boost on your money. What other factors can we bring in? Life insurance, taxation, no downsides. You got to remind them they only participate in the upsides of the market. So there's only the upsides of the market, never the downsides, the taxations. There's no really, in most cases, there's no fees, there's no money coming out of their money. In some cases, if you had the riders on, there can be fees and things like that. Usually, if you give people a bonus, there could be small fees involved, but without the bonus, they don't really bump it. So it kind of weighs it out. The bottom line is for every 10 years that they have a product, they're going to double their money. How do we know this? Well, we look at history. History can teach us about mostly anything. And this history teaches us that for 40 years, this product has been doubling every 10 years. It's pretty amazing for them to protect the principle. I want to choke people that don't get it. I'm telling you right now, when I'm doing annuities now, I'm watching people at this market now. They've lost $100,000. It's all they got to their life, and they've lost $10,000 now. So what do? I get them the bonus. Boom, puts them right back into play. If they would have listened to us in the first place, they wouldn't be in this position, some of them. But you got to hold on to these people that don't say yes to you. Make a file of them. Send out a letter, and we have it, a letter that will reintroduce you to them, and it shows them where they would be now. So they're going to know that they're down in the market. If they don't know, they're going to check. And then when they see your numbers, there's a possibility that they could possibly contact you back. But if they don't, you have the right to contact them now and then reiterate what you were talking about in the first place, which was protecting their principal. Okay? Because at the time and age most people get out of retirement, they don't have enough time to get this money back. They want to use it, and that's their retirement money. So why would you be in why would you want to be in something that participates in the downsides of the market when you're no longer funding it is beyond me. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. So, to get to that point, here's some language for you. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I know that Mr. Jones, that you said that you have Social Security, that's what you're leaving behind. And the language I'm using is to protect her. When I'm talking to him, I'm making the language look like I'm protecting her. So what will Mrs. Jones receive in Social Security from you whenever you're gone? How much will she receive? It's about what you're making now is what she'll receive. You are the two of the higher Social Securities, right? So now I know that she receives $2,000 a month here, okay? Here's what I want to tell them right here is I want to let them know that, Mrs. Jones, you could participate in waiting 6 to 12 months. You could wait 6 to 12 months to receive this. It's due to many baby boomers passing away in the processing part. It could happen in 30 days, too. It could happen immediately, but I just fair warn you, I'm the worst case scenario guy. I have to tell you that it could take 6 to 12 months. And this is a void in time that needs to be covered for most people. They need money there, okay? They have lost $2,000 a month. Mrs. Jones, by the way, what will you be living on when you no longer have his $2,000 a month? Did you hear that? What will you be living on when you no longer have his $2,000 a month? So I'll be living on $1,000, or let's say I said, yeah, let's just make it $1,000 bucks, $1,000 a month. I'll be living on $1,000 a month. I have 6 to 12 months to wait. I no longer have 2,000 bucks. But here's the flip side. Mr. Jones, do you have life insurance? No. Mr. Jones, are you going to be leaving anything else? Do you have a 401k, or do you have an indexed annuity? Do you have a variable annuity? Do you have any annuities? Or do you have a pension? Have any stock-based products whatsoever, any investments that Mrs. Jones will receive? Yes, I do. Okay. That's what they usually say, yes. I have a 401k. They might add that, but they're not going to say how much it is. So here, you have to say this. How much will Mrs. Jones receive from that? Now, here's an interesting part about this is when they say they got a 401k and it's inherited by Mrs. Jones, even though she's the beneficiary, the taxes they pay. So you can tell them that the product usually inheritably is going to be about 30% less. Don't do that now, but eventually we'll be able to tell them if it's $100,000, she's only going to get 70, and we can stop that from happening. Okay. So what we need to show them now is that we have all that 401k stuff out of the way. We know it's worth. Let's just say it's $100,000 because you're going to run into a lot of $100,000 products to $500,000. That's the ones you're going to sell a lot of. It's $500,000 and above that become more difficult. They obviously have made money and they don't want to make changes that are necessary. And the biggest word that fails people today is change. So I'll write it down and I'll say that I already know what the issue is. I mean, I know you're at an age where change is difficult, but we have to get with the times. You can no longer do it the way you've been doing it. You're going to lose money. That's not my job for you, isn't to lose you anything. So I want to protect your principal while gaining you 8 to 12%. So for 40 years, we have been teaching people how to earn 8 to 12, even 15% returns. So we got a 20-year look back when you get the app, okay? But you can say it's 40 years. Now, Mr. Jones, you got the 100,000. She's going to inherit that. That's great. You know what? What I want to do in your case, since you don't have any life insurance, you can go over the sales process first. So you all are making mortgage protection, sales, and final expense. So you can kind of know what's on the map now at this point. You know what you're working with. Now, you also, to sell the products, you can go right into this. You can say, next question I want to ask you is, before I do your numbers, is on average, a monthly, do you have, I'm going to write down 3 numbers here. See, I'm talking the whole way through, and I'm explaining what I'm doing every step of the way. I always want them their attention. I want them to see that I know what I'm talking about. I understand their need. I'm finding the need, and I will understand the need eventually. But you kind of already know they need mortgage protection. They need an annuity. You got it all planned out. Now you just got to get it in front of them because it's an illustration that we need. So at the end of the month, when you two pay all your bills off and you have extra money left behind, I hope, you have anywhere between 500, 750, and 1,000. And these 3 numbers are basically what people have left over after they've paid all their bills. That's it. That's all they got left. So they have anywhere from 500 or less, or $1,000 or more, or they're midway through. So we'll say that they have $1,000 or more. And, I would ask them, I'd say, listen, now all your bills are paid. And I'm going to show you how to protect the house so Mrs. Jones never loses it. And we protect the equity in the home. So it's very important for your children to have the equity. So bring them into the game too. And make sure you ask. I'm forgetting because I'm training you. That they have kids. Long story short, we got $1,000 left. We want them to protect the principal. We want to protect the equity. We want to protect Mrs. Jones. We want to protect Mrs. Jones. We want to protect the kids. So we have to ask the question, if I were to tell you that I can do this, could you live on $900 or $800 a month extra in your pocket? But I'm also going to show you how to earn interest on the money left over. So I'm going to put it into an interest earning account that earns money for you. Now, if they're older, you can do this. If they're younger, yes, you can use the term. 50 and below, you can use the ROP system, okay? You can make a ton of money on term products this way. If they're older, you have no choice but to do the index universal life. So you have to use the Forrester Smart UL is a great one. Mutual of Omaha's, GUL Express, fantastic for this situation. You get big numbers, low premiums, and living benefits. So we also want to bring the value of what we're doing. Bring value. So the products I'm about to present to you have living benefits. So if God forbid you get cancer, heart attack, or stroke, that 100 grand yours while you're alive. Now we'll see what numbers fit into you. And I want to know, by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jones, have you had cancer in the past 4 years? I'd like to review some health just so I'm aware of what the situation. Do you have, in the past 4 years or at any time in your life, in the past 4 years have had any heart issues or any time in your life? Are you on oxygen? Are you a diabetic? And you find out what kind of diabetic it is. And then are you taking any blood thinners? And what other prescription medications, like do you take 5 or more? Now, usually, if they're taking 5 or more prescription drugs, they don't usually qualify for universal or index universal life. That's the tough part. And this is why I teach all of my reps to get very good at final expense products. Now, bringing value to final expense is all in the cash value and death benefit. Cash value and death benefit. Mr. Jones, we can get you small. This is going towards the end when you're doing the numbers. We can get you these numbers and we can multiply it through other carriers to get you to $100,000. So you can do multiple carriers to get to 100 grand. Or we can just say to Mrs. Jones earlier in the presentation, Mrs. Jones, if Mr. Jones passes away, God forbid, will you live in this house? No, I'm going to sell it. Well, that easily tells you, that's a great comment that they make, because you can then write small numbers here and you can get the house sold for them. But what are you doing? You're buying them time. So you buy time to get the house sold, okay? Now, if they want to try to pay the house off and you can't get the big numbers anyway, I'm going to tell them this. Mr. Jones, you're healthy. You're probably not going to go for another 15 years, which is the halfway point anyway. So we got 15 years to the 30th year on the mortgage. So all you really need is to cover this for her. That's usually why people are doing it today, is they're covering this, not all of this, okay? Year 1 to 30, they cover 15 to 30, all right? That smaller number there too, that's $50,000 on a $100,000 home, or $200,000 home would be 100 grand instead of 200,000 between it all, okay? So you can teach them how to use smaller numbers and get the sales done that way. Of course, I want you to sell the whole thing, but I'm telling you right now, in mortgage protection, you're usually selling either the halfway point or to buy time. Halfway point, buy time. Halfway point, buy time. Buy time to sell the home. Halfway point, pay off the back of the home, or pay off the back of the home, sell the home, whatever they choose to do. So in this case, we have to, where was I? We're going to figure out this. No life insurance, 401k, it's worth $100,000. I'm trying to get you to sell the life insurance mortgage protection first. If that fails, you have this to fall back on. You can do the illustration right in the home. So you got this $100,000. Tell them I have another way to do this. I have plenty of people are using this system anyway. It's great because it doesn't have any money out of your pocket, puts everything back into your pocket, and it shows you how to provide the protection your wife needs. So it also gives you every penny that you put into your home for the next 10 years, it gives it back to you. So imagine you're paying your mortgage and you're actually getting your mortgage payments back, okay? Plus your retirement is growing. That's amazing, right? So you're getting every penny you put back into your home back, and your retirement's growing. This is the way people are doing it today. So I'd like to do this illustration for you guys. Do you two have a computer? Oh, great. It has a printer, right? Okay, great. I'm going to ask you, if you guys want to get a drink or anything like that, just give me 5 minutes. I need to do an illustration. This way you understand your numbers. I told you I'm coming in the beginning. Make sure you tell them, I'm coming to give you all your options. That's my job. Okay, so I'm going to lay out all your options, and I'd like to show you this one. Okay, so give me about 5 minutes, and I'll be done. I'm going to get this illustration. You call the carrier, you get the illustration emailed to you, and you go over it, and you print it out, bring it to the table. Now, if you're a new rep and you need help with this, you're going to want to walk away from the home. Go get the illustration and tell them, listen, I have another way of putting this together, but set the appointment. So from this point, you want to set the appointment to get the illustration in their hands. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I would like to show you the alternative way of doing this, which because you didn't really qualify for what numbers you really wanted, or it's too expensive, you just don't want it. I'd like to share with you another way that people don't come out of pocket. They pay all their premiums back that they put into their house, plus they grow their retirement plan. It's amazing, and I would like to share that with you. So I'm here to tell, not sell. That's my job through the state of Florida. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to present you with that opportunity. So next week or tomorrow or what, usually spread it out, give them some time. These people are very good. They don't like to jump on things. They hate next day stuff, but they will be very happy to set with you a week from now. Like they'll just, I'm telling you, if you go for the next day, it's very difficult. I know you want to jump all over this, but it can be tough. So go a couple days out. Say, you know, if it's Monday, because how about a Friday, I'm in the area again. Let them know you're there because it helps them visualize you in the area, okay? It's not like they care if they're helping you out, but if they know you're there, they may set the appointment better with you, okay? So at this point, as a professional, though, if you get the illustration on the table, as the pros can do, you get the illustration on the table, you can now share with them. Now, a lot of you want to do this on a laptop and tablet, and that's cool. That's a fantastic way of doing it, too. I like the paper form of it because I get to write on it. Sometimes I need writing on it. And with a tablet, it's going to say a bunch of numbers here that I can't write on and share with them more information. But for those of you coming back with the illustration, talk to your upline, talk to somebody that knows what they're doing. If you need an illustration, you can contact me. Even if you're not with another organization, contact me and I'll help you with illustrations. So at the end of the day, what you've done is you've set in motion your future earning potentials of an extra $100K a year, $200K a year, $500K a year, and you can even earn $1 million a year. So if you were to set up an annuity shop, and well, you know what this takes too, by the way, if you don't have the right lead resources, you're never going to be able to pull this off. So without the right lead resources, you will not sit in front of the demographics that we do. So it's just not going to happen. And I'm telling you, I've been at a lot of organizations in 10 years. It's not happening out there. That's why people are wondering, how's he doing this? Well, a lot of this has to do with the leads. You know, it really does. You don't need everybody to say yes either. So I can teach you through our lead program and the right demographics in your area that you will run into. I can do 11, 12, I can do 5 illustrations a week, but I only have one person buy. That's okay. That's one annuity a week. If I do 4 of those a month, then that's averaging an income of close to $100,000 depending on the situation and how much money's going into it. So this is only, if I do like 6 $100,000 annuities, I can hit that number, between that and 8. If I do like $1 million annuity, I can sometimes hit that number. $2 million annuity, I'll be above that number. So it's not that difficult. They're out there, okay? That's all I'm saying. Look, would you be happy with $10,000 a month, right? Selling a few small ones, all right? And then, you know, you also got to be trained up on the paperwork. And I'm going to tell you all something. We learn by contacting the carrier and working with the carrier right in front of the client, step by step. All right? I'm new to this product. Say that in front of the client. I am new to this particular product. Can you help me walk through the application, please? And you got to know where the money is. Sometimes you got to contact the stockbroker. Selling annuities can become simple, but up front it can look very confusing. Once you get it, it's like selling life insurance was confusing for you at one time too. But this becomes easy after a while, guys. You won't have to be so concerned about the confusion that it can be. And especially if you have somebody to help you do it. I mean, like, I'm willing to fly to you, and as long as we know it's a solid deal and a solid sit, and it's almost done, we will fly in and we will help you get these annuities taken care of, and we will close these deals with you. So anything else that I can provide you is that with when you have the right leads and you have the right demographics, you're able to sit in front of the right people. So our final expense leads are $25K minimum, $75K upside. So usually sitting between this, and they have annuities. All right. Final expense is where I started selling annuities 10 years ago. Was my first annuity. I was like probably 2 weeks in the field and I found it. So it was 100. I remember the older lady. She was 100, very nice older woman. I mean, just so nice. And she trusted me enough to do $120,000. But watch out who you're working for, because scumbags I was working for didn't even pay me for it. They gave me $500 for the deal. It's unbelievable. And they made probably $12,000 on it. So you got to be careful on who you're working with when you're getting trained too. You want to get paid. I want to pay you because I want you to be able to fund this again and do it over again through the lead resources. You could be set up for a great time period if you sell one of these annuities, especially you don't know where your comp level is, but let's say it's 6%. So at 6%, what do you earn? You earn 6,000, I don't know, it's like $8,000, right? Something like that. So could you deal with $8,000? That'd be great for you. Boom, one sale, $8,000. Imagine the potential you have if you all started focusing more on this. You're all focused on, now listen, I am not saying, you've got to start from ground zero. You have to master final expense life insurance first. You have to probably then, if you're not in the mortgage protection, that's okay, but master final expense. Then if you want to, you master final expense, keep selling final expense to get into mortgage protection. From both of these, either one of them, you move into presenting to people the opportunity that they have through indexed annuities. And then you get paid big bucks. All you're sharing with them is the illustration and the proof. That's all you need to do. Get to the illustration. If you can get to this point, you're almost there. You're so close, because inside the illustration is the sale. Okay, you speaking to them is just preparing them for this part. Just getting to that point isn't that tough. All right, then you have the sale, then you have the app. And then you have all the stuff in between of getting the money to the annuity. So from one company to your company. All right, how do you do that? Mrs. Jones can cash it out. They can transfer it. Well, I'll be taxed if I take the money though, right? No, it's all deferred. You can defer it. Don't worry about the taxation. I promise you, you'll see that it's all deferred, okay? Every step of the way, you got to make sure, every step of the way through this, Mrs. Jones and Mr. Jones, if it's both, I will be there for you. I will walk through this step by step with you. Here's a folder of the company we would use. Open a folder. Read the stuff inside, the brochures. Know your shit. Some of you just want to walk in, flop in, hey, man, give me your money. That ain't how it works. Your education is so important in this industry. You got to be smart, man. You got to stick and take some time to be smart. If you took the time that you did to study the life insurance state exam and you used the same amount of time on your products, you'd be a genius. And that's what they should be teaching. The hell, you don't use shit from that state exam, do you? I don't even remember anything from it. What did they I don't remember anything. I can't believe they even do it that way. But okay, so let's go back. If you want to properly illustrate a mortgage protection sale, this is how it would look. Now, there's this, cross. I'm on a piece of paper, right, Mr. Jones, Mrs. Jones. I got their Social Security. I got their life insurance. I got their retirement fund. I know that they have kids. I know the value of the home. I know the appraisal on the home. So I can adjust the value to the appraisal and see how much equity is in the home. So if the home is $200,000 and the appraisal is $250,000, or the mortgage that you got is $200,000 and the appraisal is $250,000, that's $50,000 in money that's up for grabs. That means the bank, 7 of 10 homes today is being taken back by banks. It's usually women and children that lose the home. Why? It's the demise of the mister, usually. Mr. Jones did not prepare them well enough. That doesn't mean you, Mr. Jones. I'm just stating a fact that this is the statistics. Mr. Jones does not have this preparation done properly enough for her future. You know what most people don't take into consideration is inflation and tax increases, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. They didn't think that. You're doing your numbers off numbers today. $1,000 in 10 years might be worth $700. You got to evaluate that for her protection. So what we're here to do is protect Mrs. Jones from your demise and not having enough money to survive the times. Whether that be a short period of time that she needs extra cash, or that be a long period of time that she needs extra cash. But what we will do is we will show her that she has enough income for the rest of her life, or enough income to get that equity. Okay, Mrs. Jones, will you stay in this house if Mr. Jones isn't here anymore? No, I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna go back up north. That's what I hear a lot. So this $50,000 by the time of his demise, let's say it's 10 years, it could be worth $100,000 to you. That's your inheritance. That's what you're going to live on for the rest of your life. I mean, if I could add something, I would tell you that if you get that money, I would tell you to put it into one of these index annuities that has very high interest rates, great bonuses, and turns your money into life insurance, so when somebody inherits it, that they have it. So I'm teaching them about the future too. They believe you inside now. You're the pro. It's just them pulling the trigger on change. We have to get them around the fact that they haven't done shit for years. It's all been the same for 30, 40 years. Making that change is difficult, so they better believe your ass, okay? It ain't about rapport to the point of them trusting you. It's about their goddamn money being protected and them believing that it's protected. What happens if that building blows up, Jason, and that theme company goes under? Your money's protected by the government. They have to protect it dollar for dollar, better than banks. What do you think the banks do? They invest their money into this stuff. Why do you think you're getting a small return? 0.01%. You know what I mean? You can't put it in a savings account. You don't want to put it in a jar in the backyard. You really need to take the time to influence you too. I need to influence you to make sure that you're protecting the equity. And then what else do you have is that you have that 401k. So I would like to review some options for you. Look, who doesn't want to see some options? I don't want to sell you on nothing. I just want to show you some options. How can somebody say no to options? They asked you to come. They filled out the card. Or they said yes over the phone to somebody from another country. You know, tell a lead. We can't lose, guys. You got a winning situation here because you are optional. You have options to bring to the table, and never ever have you failed. You will never fail by bringing options. Okay, you come to tell, not sell. You'll be okay. Now, with your abilities to present that kind of stuff, you bring to the table option one in your mind. You have the ability to pay off the home. Pay it off. Two, you have the halfway point. Okay, 15 years to 30. Always ask how many years are left on the home. You people selling final expense who aren't asking, do you have a mortgage? Do you have rent to pay? If the significant other were passed, you're losing money. You're not jumping your premium sales up because you're losing money, and you're not using the right products. You're not using in final expense situations the Smart UL at Foresters. You're not using the GUL at Mutual of Omaha. You're using final expense products and you're losing major premium and bringing, because value can be brought. You could sell a final expense product, say, I took care of your death benefit, but we also should take care of the mortgage too, so I'm going to bring you two options, okay? And affordability means something too. That's why you're always reviewing what they have left. How much after you pay all your bills, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, do you have left cash-wise that you may put in savings or spend? So you have $500, $750, or $1,000 left a month after you paid all your bills. We have about $750. So, okay, so I'm going to use what you have left. I don't want to take any food off the table, and I want you to have money left over. This will be affordable, plus it's a savings account too. So the interesting thing is, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, is that this is a cash value earning. It is a level product, so your premiums will never go up. It's level, so it earns cash value, and the average is about 6% on that. That's what it averages. F&G is at 8.7, 9.7. That's the index universal life. Later on, I teach you that. But right now, you want to exist. It has a death benefit, plus it has living benefits. So if, God forbid, you were to get cancer, heart attack, or stroke, this money is yours to protect this house while you're alive, or protect you. Maybe health care is down the tubes. You don't have enough money for yourself. Maybe you need a heart transplant. You got to wait it out. Maybe there's a lot of things that could pop up. Live in my world, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and you see a lot of strange things happen to people. That's why I have to be worst case scenario. That's what this protects. And it protects the best case scenario too. So it's, at the end, if you pay this house off, there's just a bucket of retirement sitting here for you. It actually turns into like your 401k. It'll distribute money monthly out to you, or you can take the cash. That's your money. By the way, at this interest level, on the 10th year, will be equal to what they put in it, usually. So on the 10th year, if they've been putting $100 a month into it, and they got $1,200, they should have $12,000 there on the 10th year. So dollar for dollar, it's there. So they don't have to worry. Dollar for dollar, you'll have it there, and you can have access to it too if you need loans from it. You have this living benefit. It has 2 of 6 daily activities you can do: bathing, eating, dressing, toileting, driving, transferring yourself around. You receive this money too while you're alive. And then the shorter end, in your mind, this is 1, this is 2, and in your mind, you know what you're bringing to the table, these 3 options, and this is the sell the home. What are you doing? You're buying time. So you're buying time by selling the home, okay? Mr. and Mrs. Jones, we know that there is an opportunity for Mr. Jones may not have the Social Security income to Mrs. Jones for 6 to 12 months. That's a void in time if she doesn't have $2,000 a month. Yes, she has the 401k, but it's going to be taxed by 30%. This is where you tell them that she's only going to get $70,000. Boom. Okay? 70 grand, baby. That's negative $30,000. And I'm going to stop that from happening. Okay? You don't deserve that. That's not what you worked your rear end for. Okay, that's how that product works, and we want to stop that from happening, okay? So I'm going to give you some options to help you stop that, guys. When you talk like that, guys, they love you, man. They fucking love you. You know what I mean? You can't lose. So pay off the home. Okay, you got higher premium here. This is the largest premium you can sell, all right? Now, let me ask you a question. If you know it's not affordable to them, why do you even write it down? Don't waste your time like that. Take it out. Start coaching on what they can afford. Okay, here's what it comes to, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. This is your options. You got $50,000 you're eligible for with the premium that you can afford, all right? I know you have $200,000 mortgage to pay, all right? But what we need to do is we need to buy her time anyway. Mrs. Jones, you said you were leaving. This is in your budget. Plus, if God forbid you were to pass away first, Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jones has the cash value inside it. In 10 years, you pass away first. Mr. Jones cashes in for every penny he's put into it. He has another, you left him with a death benefit for you again. So or for himself, you know what I'm saying? So if the product's on him and Mrs. Jones dies, he's going to cash it in, all right? So that's a fantastic way of teaching them value. Let's show some value, and then I'm done, guys, okay? Unless you have any questions. So value is like this. It's really cool to bring value. Okay, we all know that there's a death benefit. We know there's death. 2, we know there's cash value. Or 3, we know there's ROP. I'm not against term, I just can't sell it in my area. 4, at all. I don't have anybody 50 and below. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, cash value. We have interest on the products. So that means that your money grows. You want to use this stuff that's built into the products to bring value to, let's just consider it a house or a car that you're selling. If you were that salesman, would you not provide them? This wall here was created to hold data. You know, this is a great room. You could do a lot in this room. This is a great office area, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. This is a great place to put a gym. You could have the kids playing in here. There's some cover space over there, right there. You have access to the toilet area and the shower out there. It's 3 bedroom, three bath. It's got full showers in each. You know, you really want to teach them about the product. That's all I'm telling you, okay? So you have interest on the money. Some interests are fixed at 3%. Some can go as high as 15.5%, and they do, okay? Number 5, you have what they call living benefits. That means you get the money while you're alive. If you have cancer, heart attack, or stroke, the money's yours. If God, here's number 6, check this out. If, God forbid, Mr. Jones were to stay alive and you were to pass away, he has a retirement side put aside. You guys are saving money this whole time. If you pay the house off, you now both have a retirement plan. So there's a retirement plan built in. See, I'm telling them this is already built in. The retirement plan is built into the product. It turns into an annuity where it allows you to pull the money monthly, or you could pull all the cash out at once. And there's no penalty. You know what I mean? Is there taxes owed? Well, yes, there's been interest. It's only on the interest earned money. It's a very small number. It's only on interest earned. Only on interest earned money. Very small number. Nothing for you to be concerned about. Plus, it's earning interest, so you want that to happen. You know, so that you won't want it to stay stagnant, not earn interest and not pay taxes. You want it to earn interest and pay taxes. 7, let me see where it's at. Cash value, ROP, interest living, cash benefits, retirement. The kids don't own this house, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. They don't own this house. What happens is they will own the debt on the home, the taxes, the light bill, and getting all your stuff out to sell the home, all right? I know Mrs. Jones is leaving, so we need a small number on her. So let's go review all these. This was for you. But let's review these numbers, okay? So here it is. Take some time out, get your numbers on paper, make them neat. You review them, go over the sale again while you're doing it. Keep repeating yourself. Don't stop talking throughout the deal. You're not there to listen. You're there to teach. And that's where a lot of you fail. You ask too many damn questions, you ain't teaching nothing. Just get in there and start telling them the way it is. I'm telling you how to work this so it's better for you. You ask too many questions and just get bored with it. They just want to learn. They do. They want the education you're bringing. They don't want to hear, how old are you? What are you looking to do? How much do you think you need? You know, that's not working. That's amateur stuff. You want to get to the top end of these premium sales and large premium sales, you need to bring it to the table. That's why you need to be the smartest guy in the room. You must learn your products. You must learn the value that the products bring. And as I told you, if you studied like you did for that state exam, your products, there's no stopping you. You'd be a weapon in the house. You'd be teaching this stuff. You know what I mean? So learn the value that you're bringing to the table. Okay. Enough of value. Last point. There's many ways that you can earn in this business, right? You can earn through the ability of building annuity sales, you have final expense, mortgage protection. Hell, you can create college funds, retirement funds. You know, you could build retirement funds with index universal lives. You have this option. But remember, you people that are just starting out, if you only have like 2 years in this business, I'm telling you, probably you didn't even master final expense yet. You don't know them all. You got to know the competition too. That's important. What's the competition? Who are they? Every time, do you realize how much money is in replacing policies? How many people will be hurt by the fact that they have older index universal life and term products? Why are you not asking what do they have? How much do they have? Now, when I ask this question, it sounds like this. Mr. Jones, your life insurance policy, how much is being left behind? What is she getting from that? I don't say how much is it. I say I'm looking at protecting his wife. So why would I not say it this way? How much is Mrs. Jones receiving? Or if you guys both go, the children, I assume. So, she's going to get $100,000. What do you think you do now? What do you do now? You know it's $100,000. All right? You know it's $100,000. What do you do? What you do is you tell them this. You tell them that I'm sorry to tell you, but let me ask you a question, Mr. Jones. How much time's left on that? How long does that last? When does that term out? Any one of those will work. When does that term out? It never does. Oh, so you'll hear that and you got to start, this is hard because you got to start going against them. It's like a fight now. So you got to watch it, the way you pull this off. So, Mr. Jones, this is a product that only $40,000 or less is guaranteed. Anything above $40,000, I've been doing this 10 years, Mr. Jones. I got all the products, so I'm just trying to get you the information. Is anything above $40,000 is either what they call a term or index universal life. Do you have the policy here? Yes, I do. Would you please go get it just so I can make you aware of your options? Remember the word options. You're not scaring him off by this. You're informing him that you're there to dedicate some time to informing him of what he has. It's not going to kill him to have another set of eyes on this. But here's the genius part, is that from this point, you're able to influence him with the fact that he has $100,000 that he's going to lose when you show it to him. Hey, look on the app and either say this or term, and see, you see, Mr. Jones, that term means terminate. So, by the way, it's going to end at age 85. So the downside of this is, or it could end earlier too, could have got it earlier. But, let's say he bought a 20-year term. He was 30 when he bought it. He's 50 now. No, let's say he bought a 20-year term. He was 30. He's 40 now. He's going to spend money on something he's never going to receive probably for the next 10 years. So do the math on it. How much are you spending? I'm spending $50 a month. Okay, do the math on it. $600 a year. Times that by 10 years. That's $6,000 in the next 10 years you're going to spend on something you're probably not going to have. I do have something, though, that will give you all the money back. If you want that amount of money, I can get you all your money back. So the great part is you just show them some, and it'll come with living benefits. So if you're out of work, the money's yours while you're alive. So this is a genius way for you to do this. So let me show you this, okay? Then they want to see that, you know? I'm going to give you your options, Mr. Jones. The index universal life, you know that what does an index universal life have? Especially the way they created them with low interest levels. The reason these damn things don't stay in place is because they use the wrong product with low interest levels. And the interest doesn't deflect the cost of insurance. Once you have cost of insurance, you got increases of $10, $20, $30, $40. It keeps going up and up and up. So they had it for 20 years. Now the cost of insurance is $100, $200 a month. They have inside this cash value $2,000. Now I can guarantee you, if somebody's had an index universal life from the past for 15, 20, 30 years, that they are coming up to the time and date where it's going to demise. It's close. It depends on the product. 20 years usually demise it. So they probably have 3 to 5 years. So if this is $100 a month on cash value, this is coming from the cash value, okay? The cost of insurance. You do the math for it. That's $1,200 a year. Plus it goes up the very next year. to 110. It's usually $10 increments cost of insurance, Jones. That's going to make this like $1,500. So they're going to be, this policy is good for 1.5 years, Mr. Jones. And what you can do if they don't believe you is you want to get the carrier on the phone. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the carrier on the phone. I want them to explain this to you so you very much so understand your options, okay? And when they do that and they hear that, you're now able to use this $50 premium to put into a new product. You replace this, you get him his cash. Ask this question, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, could you before they even know a lot about it, you want to say, could you use $2,000? Could you use an extra $2,000? Whoa, who couldn't? Okay, great. Those kind of people are into it, man. They buy this stuff all day long. So, which means you get them their cash value, you use the premium for your product, and you enhance it. You put they already knew you were coming, so you're going to put more money onto it. You're going to say, here's what I'd like you to do. When you know somebody really likes and trusts you, and they know that you know what you're talking about, you're able now to tell them what to do. I can easily go into a home and I can tell somebody that I want them to spend $300 a month for them, for their future. It's the right thing to do. I'm not thinking about, oh my God, I'm going to earn $4,000 on this deal. I'm thinking, if I get her $300, if I do this for them, and it's $300, I know they're going to be practically saving $3,600 a month, maybe less, but at least $2,000 a year. I'm sorry. And in the future, that they have an extra retirement fund for themselves. I got them covered for cancer, heart attack, and stroke. 2 of 6 daily activities can be done. That they have a $100,000 check sitting there for them, a lottery hit. Okay, so and if they both survive this, then they have this living benefits. If God forbid they pass, the kids are secure. I do it for them, the younger people. I always tell them, I do it for you because I'm not worried about the death benefit aspect of it. But what I am, well, I am, because if God forbid you pass away, the house could be taken from you. But I am more concerned about the fact that you may not have the right retirement schedule put aside. If you look at the average, and I do it on a daily basis. I look at the average retirement fund of people, and it's like it's nothing. It's low. It's very low. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing. It's $100,000. It's $200,000, and if they're lucky, $300,000. So you can't survive on that in 20, 30 years, guys. See, the funding towards these things isn't changing from the jobs these people work at, but the inflation of the world is. So we must teach the youthful how to save money, or the country's going to be doomed one day. So please start teaching people how to put money into life insurance, how to protect their family, how to protect themselves. Look at their family tree. Has anybody had cancer? Anybody had heart attacks? Anybody had stroke? You got to bring every angle to the table, guys. I'm telling you got to bring it all, man, to really sell, to really do it right. That's your job. So you want to go in like some barbaric, hey, here's 3 numbers, that's it. That's cool. You know, if you're happy making money, they're still protected. But if you ever want to get to the annuity side of the market, you better start learning how to teach people about numbers, okay? Any questions? Let me read what Facebook has going on here and see what's up. Anybody has any questions, I can answer. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you all for being here. Okay, let me see. Leads are important. You got to order them on a weekly basis. If you're in the hospital with a coma, keep your lead order coming in. Your failure is only due to the here's what you don't trust you. You think I have a problem ordering 40 leads in a week? I'm not even going to get to all of them. I understand it. I eventually will. But a lead has no shelf life anyway. Once you build an organization, which I'm going to go over next week, you start to provide people with resources. And then you start building an agency. Because without the resources you used to need, you wouldn't be in business now. And you still need them. Well, why are you not funding your business at $500 a week is beyond me. It's because you don't have any income and you don't trust yourself. You won't order $1,000 in leads to get 10 quality leads back because, or I'm sorry, 500. That's too high. 500 bucks for quality leads, and even 300 bucks on final expense quality stuff. You know, it's beyond me, because you have to do it. Nobody taught us this when they were hiring us, and that I teach everybody this. I will not hire somebody unless they have the funding. They just can't come in. So, and I'm not against, I was started out with no money too, and I had help, but people won't do what I tell them to do. Like, I'll hire a broke person, and I will tell them, be on the training, be on this, and then they fail it. And I'm not dealing with that anymore. So that's just how it is. So, at the end of the day, I'm looking for champions. I'm looking for people that really want to make some money. I'm putting energy into this training. I'm bringing to you the weekly sales I make. I'm telling you the facts. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you what's going on in the homes. I'm doing it still. So I'm not lying to you. This is the facts. You've got to bring value. You got to get these lead orders up too. Why don't you try partnering with somebody? Most of you are not thinking like a business owner. Grab a son of a bitch and tell them we're going into business together. Okay? I need your money. We're doing it together. Be tough, man. All right, guys. I got to go finish up these annuities. I sold two this week. That's $18,000 after January 1st. First and the second. First sales I ran into that I created were annuities. And now they're done. I'm going to sign them now. So thank you for being here. You can do this too. Everybody can do this. You're learning. Keep the education. Learn your products. I'll see you next week at 10 a.m. Thank you very much for being on, guys. I appreciate it. Any questions, you guys can text me, and I'll get back to you all, okay?